This is Matt for MJ Boxing. We're going to be going live with Ted Cheeseman. Ted is headlining the Matchroom Fight Camp show on August the 1st. We're going to be talking all things boxing, his thoughts on Fight Camp, and sort of next stage of his career and how everything's going to go. Let's just see if he's on now and we'll get him in. Just give it a second. Ted's in a fight with Sam Eggington. Very fan-friendly fight. Could be an absolute war zone if they both just come out and try and engage with each other. You know, Sam comes to fight. So does Ted. Really looking forward to that. It's a good opener for bringing boxing back in the UK. Ted's had some tough fights. Sergio Garcia, Scott Fitzgerald. It'd be good to get his thoughts on them and also what he wants to do moving forward and where he sees himself in, say, the next 12 months. Just wait for him to come on. Come on. Let's have a look. Let's join this, Craig. Where is that? Boom. Just waiting for Ted to join in and then we'll get him on and start asking all questions. Shouldn't be too much longer. Got a few interviews hopefully coming up this next week and a bit of collaboration work with other platforms. Simbox, we'll be doing something with him, talking all things boxing. Got a few, subjects that we want to discuss. Some obvious ones, obviously, Fight Camp, drugs in boxing, all the things that have been in mainstream, really. So we're just going to go through a few bits and hopefully everyone enjoys it, can join in. Look. Come on. Come on. Right, Ted's joined. Let's have a look. Just connecting up now. Ted, how's it going?
Yeah, good, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad. Thanks for doing this with us anyway.
Yeah,
Appreciate
no problem,
it.
mate.
Nice one for your time. I've got sort of a set list of questions we're just going to run through.
Yeah.
Just answer whatever you want and we'll sort of go from there. So, First things first, a bit of an obvious one, but Corona, how have you dealt with lockdown and, adapted your training and stuff like that? Because obviously with gyms being shut, it's been a bit of a nightmare for a lot of fighters, and I know they've been wanting to, miss out on a lot of sparring and things like that. How have you sort of coped with it and managed to keep yourself, busy and ticking over?
From early in the lockdown, I've managed to sort out. 1 second, mate. To sort out facilities for. Sorry, mate. 1 second. Let me turn this TV off.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah, I managed to sort out facilities for boxing and strength. So obviously I run on the road. So I managed to do it all, been able to get them the same as what I usually do. So it's been the easiest time for me possible, really, because basically it's just been a training camp, but with totally no distractions at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's been easy, perfect. I wish it was always like it.
And as someone else who said the same, you've had a bit of a rollercoaster career up until this point as well. You got to 15-0, won the British, light middleweight title. You then took on Sergio Garcia for the European title. Can I just ask you, looking back now on that fight, is that something that you have any regrets with taking, considering obviously you mentioned things you were going through, things like that. How do you look back at that experience?
For me, that fight was a blessing in disguise because obviously, otherwise I would still be in that same predicament now. So I'm glad I got it out of the way then. Otherwise, I'd still be chasing the same rubbish now, and I wouldn't have sorted my life out how I have done now.
Yeah, brilliant. You took a fight with Kieran Conway, which ended in a draw, and then you took another fight with Scott Fitzgerald, both in a lot of people's eyes quite controversial. A lot of people you're definitely beating Kieran Conway. Scott Fitzgerald, another fight where I know you were, really sort of upset with how it ended and the result. Do you think them sort of setbacks in your career will make you stronger for the next stage moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. They make you more determined, and obviously you learn a lot from them. So I experienced fights, so I picked up a lot of knowledge and a lot of ring craft in them fights. Yeah, I picked up a lot of knowledge and ring craft in them fights, so I just got to use it. And obviously, I'm not mentally broke. Everyone can see I'm not mentally broke. I'm still pushing for these big fights. I'm still excited to be having big fights, and I'm fresh and I'm more determined than ever.
Brilliant. Yeah, I'm going to say, because a lot of people, I think in boxing now, there's a big emphasis on managing to keep hold of your own and keep hold of your undefeated record, but you've taken on, really good challenges, obviously, and you're only still very young, so can only really set you up good for the future,
Yeah, cool. So I think everyone gets a bit too carried away with the unbeaten record thing, and if you look at all these great fighters, a lot of them have had losses, and all it does is sort of, if you ain't getting beat, you're obviously nothing's going wrong, so obviously you always sort of got nothing really in your head to sort of work on, as much as your coach might pick up on stuff. But you don't really notice things full well because obviously everything's going well. But obviously when it ain't going so well, you can find loads of stuff to work on and improve on, and that's what we have done. And obviously, even since the Scott Fitzgerald fight, I've had nearly a year, and it's just been a whole year of maturing and learning and improving. So I'll be at another stage, another level, a lot better fighter from even since then.
Yeah, with that fight, obviously you thought you won it. Looking back now, do you still come to the same conclusion through the fight that you thought, you outboxed him and won the fight?
Yeah, obviously in my head now, watching it, the what I learned from that fight is when now I look back at it, I still believe I won a minimum of 7 rounds out of 12, so I deserve a win. But now going back on the fight, what I picked up on is that I'm making him miss a lot, obviously, but when I'm making him miss, I'm not always coming straight back. I'm hitting 1 or 2 shots and then moving and just not wasting energy, just like nicking the rounds. But now, obviously, we worked a lot on when we do make you miss. There ain't about nicking the rounds, it's dominating and making sure I jump straight back on the opponent straight away.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people's assumptions of you was you're a come forward fighter, aggressive, but in that fight you changed it up. You were on the back foot, popping in with a jab, and then, like you said, maybe not always making him pay, but you were sort of trying to control the tempo of it instead of just going out and banging with him, because he's quite a hard puncher, isn't he, Scott Fitzgerald?
Yeah,
so
obviously,
it's not someone you
thing
just go slugging.
Listen, like, everyone says that, and the thing is like, for me, it's weird because it's one of my easiest fights I've had because I hardly got hit, so I wouldn't really know if he was a massive puncher. There weren't really a time where I got hit clean in the head, where I got with a massive shot clean there, where I could say, oh, he rocked me there or whatever. So that's why it's so gutting as well, because it's like I've had a lot easier fights and a lot harder fights and won them a lot comfortabler than what I lost that fight. You know what I mean? I felt like I hardly got hit. You know what I mean? Definitely clean anyway. You know what I mean? So but obviously it's all, like I said, all learning experience. I'm 24 and now I've got another big opportunity, and I've just got to take this opportunity with both hands and push on.
Yeah, we're going to move on to fight camp and that in a minute, because I think what Eddie's done setting up fight camps, unbelievable job, to bring British boxing back and on a really decent level across all the cards that he's put together. I wanted to talk to you just a little bit. It's been well documented. You mentioned in the media you had certain problems and you've addressed them. Now that you've addressed, the problems that you had, and going through what you went through, you know, crippling addiction, do you almost feel like now when you train, you know, you're fighting, there's a massive weight lifted off your shoulders and that you can fully zone in on what you're doing?
Yeah, it was only last week, sort of. I said to a few of the boys, I was sitting there and I sat there and I thought about it the night before I went training, because obviously we do a couple of different runs, what we do altogether. But
Yeah.
one of them's a triangle, and that's the one I hate the most. You know what I mean? But obviously
Yeah.
I get through it. But that's like the one that everyone in the gym has a different one where they think like it just don't suit to their legs as much, and they hate it. And I
Yeah.
hate the triangle. But the night before, couple of nights before, you sort of have to mentally build yourself up for it. And I remember
Yeah.
building myself up for it. And I was thinking, I sat there and I thought, how the hell did I used to go training on a Monday, be in the bookies before training, go training,
Yeah.
get out as quick as possible, be in the bookies all night until literally close, come out
Yeah.
gutted from all the money I've lost, then go to bed, have to be up at 6:30, but not get to bed till 1, 2 in the morning because I'm still thinking about what I've done in the day, and then get
Yeah.
up and do that training. I was thinking, how the hell did I used to do it? But obviously, like you say, it's a massive weight lifted off my shoulders now. And what people don't realise, see, even when I was fighting Kieran Conway and Fitzgerald, it was still fresh. You know what I mean? I only stopped
Yeah.
gambling in April. You know what I mean? So now, on April the 6th, 2019 was the last time I bet. So I'm a year and a few months clear now. But that's quite a long time now. You know what I mean? From
That's,
something you used to do
yeah.
every day, that was your lifestyle, to
Yeah.
like that long. Now my head is fresh. Now my head is in a different focus, and
Yeah.
I'm fully over it. You know what I mean? Like, and I can't wait. People don't realise that. People say, "Oh, when you've been on the drugs, you have cold turkey." And listen, with the gambling, you're fighting an addiction to stop it. You still have cold turkey. You still
Yeah.
are having nightmares, thinking that you've gone and lost a load of money again, and wake up 4 in the morning and think, "Oh, bloody hell, it
Yeah.
ain't real." You know what I mean? You still have that.
Yeah.
You still have them problems. So it's like
Yeah.
I'm past all that now. I'm fresh minded. I don't really, as much as I speak about it in interviews when people bring it up, I don't really think about it. I could sit there and watch racing every day of the week, but if someone mentioned a bet, I'd say
Yeah.
it's just it ain't me. I'm not telling. If you can go and have a bet and you can go and spend say £20, it don't affect your life. Then you can, if you lose it, you leave it. Have a bet. It's
Yeah.
one of the most enjoying things in the world. But if you can't control it, don't do it. It's like drink. It's like drugs. It's whatever you do, whatever is your release. If you can control it, yeah, no problem. All good to you. Do it. But if you can't control
Yeah.
it, you can't do it. It's just simple as. No people. A lot of people stop and they go, "Oh, after a few months, I think I'm going to try and control it, try and ease it down." I've done that a million times over the 5 years. I had 1 month off or a week off and tried to go in with a budget. It don't work. If you're an addict, you're an addict. You know what I mean? And if
Yeah.
you can't control it, you can't control it. So it's either nothing or you're all in.
All or nothing. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think I'm gonna say I think I saw an interview where you said that, you know, like you mentioned the cold turkey thing, how, you know, it's not great because it gives you a conscience. It
yeah,
actually makes you think. Once it stops, you think,
yeah,
you know, oh God, it gives you that emotional sort of side of it. But
yeah. Cool.
I think the reason I brought it up was because I think it's important. Obviously, someone like yourself who's boxing, you're in the public eye. I think
Yeah,
if, you know, people like yourself will mention stuff like addictions, and obviously there's Tyson Fury who mentions depression. If more people in the public eye who've experienced these problems speak out, it then gives people in sort of the everyday life that thing to say, oh, I need to get help.
yeah. Of
So I think
course.
that's
But I was
huge.
talking about. I done an interview with Heavy D earlier, and we were talking about it. And like the main thing is like I was saying was like when you go to school from like 11, 12, you go to secondary school, you'll
Yeah,
push. Yes, let's get the best grades. Let's go to university. Let's be a
yeah,
doctor. Let's be a banker. Let's be a sports person. But
yeah,
in that whole time you're doing that, you don't get no financial advice what to do with the money once you get
yeah,
it. You don't get no advice about alcohol, drugs, or gambling. You get sex
yeah,
education taught, and that you can't you do that. Like, and you're not meant to do that till after 16. But you're not meant to gamble or drink or drugs till after 16. So what I was saying today was really and truly the government should be pushing for even if it's once a month, groups of people should be going around to schools and
100%.
doing an hour talk in an assembly or something and explaining to kids. Because look, imagine you're a 16-year-old. Yeah, when I went to school, I went to a sports academy, and like Reece Nelson went to my school and he plays for Arsenal now. Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot
Yeah.
of good football players that come out. John Bostock, loads of good football players. Jadon Sancho, I think. I'm not sure. I think he did. I'm not sure. But say you're 16, you sign a professional contract, you start getting 50 grand a week. What are you gonna do? You ain't got no clue. You go to bookers, you start enjoying gambling, or you go and have a drink. You start you can go to no sort of advice. All they do, they leave it to sort of your manager, your agent, or whatever to deal with it once you've get it. But really and truly, the government and everyone in the country should be preventing it with kids, like preventing it and getting them early. Because I look at it now and I know I had traits of an addict from when I was 12, 13, or even from 8 years old. Even when I used to go down a caravan, like to a holiday park, and my nan and granddad would give me a couple of bags of 1 and 2p's or whatever.
2p machines,
and then I'll just keep going back and back and back and back. And when I went training, I keep going and going and going. Whatever I'd done, I had to go to the full. You know what I mean? So, kids, if you spoke to a load of kids and sort of got into their heads, then they could sort of be able to tell themselves if they got them sort of traits. And then from then, you could pick out 10 out of 100 in a bunch and be able to try and work with them and help them. But it's better to prevent stuff than cure it. You know what I mean? I look at it. If I had the advice that I would like to give to other people now, maybe I wouldn't have done what I did. But obviously, I've learned and I've got a lot of life experience from it, and it's made me a much better person. But it would have been nice not to have to deal with that at all.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's sort of part of your journey now, whereas if the government did introduce something like that into school, then it doesn't have to be part of anyone, so they can just get on with things and learn their personality traits. And, it's something the government, I think, should be looking into, because the figures for, problem gambles and stuff like that are ridiculous, really.
Yeah. It's not even, I always look at it, it's not even just gamblers, it's alcoholics, it's drug addicts. I go through a school and I do a questionnaire. How many of these kids' mum and dads drink each night? How many of these mum and dads take drugs each night or smoke puff each night? Or, you know what I mean? Whatever it is. And then, when you go through, you'll see that through either mum and dad's traits, or nan and granddad's traits, or aunt, uncle, something will lead back when they've done this questionnaire where you'll be able to monitor the kid and go, oh, well, there's a so many % chance he might or she might be able to be like that. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's drugs, alcohol, or gambling. But you could prevent it a lot better. Do you know what I mean? If you push for it.
For sure. You've sort of touched on everything really there. I had a few lead-on questions for it, but your final sort of, just to touch on the last thing, what would your main advice be to someone now who's maybe, young lad or whatever age really, who's struggling and they don't know how to deal with it? What would your sort of one little bit of advice be for them?
If you feel there's any sort of problem, if you're denying it to yourself, and you really don't think it's a problem, but you've had one thought in your mind when it's got really bad, but the next day it's all right again, but then the day after it's bad. But if you have that one little thought, admit it, because as soon as you admit it, you can just start getting help. The day I admitted it, I started getting help, and my life's so much better for it. But if you don't admit it, you're never going to get the help. And the first place you can get help is at a meeting, whether it's GAAA or like Drug Anonymous. You're with people. Yeah, it's all right going to the doctors. It's all right going anywhere. But you're with people who have had them experiences. They can relate to you. And most of them are people who have overcome it. So you can relate with them. And you can look at ways they use to help stop that.
Yeah. Brilliant. How's becoming a dad sort of helped you channel your energy and keep yourself busy? Because I know you've got Ted Jr. on the go now. So how's that helping, put everything into perspective for you? Your career, job lot.
Yeah. You know what? Obviously, I've said in a lot of interviews the last few weeks, the main thing for me now out of boxing is basically I'm not in boxing for the money. You know what I mean? I'm not in boxing for the money at all. Obviously, I'm never going to sell myself short for a fight. But my main aim is not to earn as much money as I possibly can out of boxing. Even though I want to do that, it's not my main aim. My main aim is to go as far as I possibly can and fulfill my full potential. And by doing that, everything else will come with it. But if I don't do that, I was to find an easy way to earn a load of money without doing that, I'd still regret it in the future.
Yeah, no, absolutely brilliant.
And
The next part.
I think by doing that, like you say, sorry, by doing that, that will make my kid proud of me when he's old enough to realise. They'll make him proud of me that he realises I didn't chuck away everything just for a pound note, because there's a million ways to earn money. Do you know what I mean? But boxing, I give up my whole life, young age, away for doing it. Sacrifice so much, so I need to get as much possible and fulfill my potential as much as I can out of it, because otherwise I've wasted loads of years of my life.
Absolutely, no, it's a good mindset to have. The next sort of step in your career, it's a bit of a unique one because of the times we're in. But you're headlining the first week of Fight Camp, August the 1st. How excited are you to be back, and what's your thoughts fighting behind closed doors? Because I know you've obviously... Are you just cutting out there? 1 second. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, what's your thoughts on coming back? How excited are you to come back, and how do you think you're going to find fighting behind closed doors without that buzz of a crowd there?
I think the best thing that ever happened to me was lockdown. You get what I mean? Because at the start of this year, I was training for an 8-rounder, and I was motivated, but not motivated. If you get what I mean, it was like I was training because I needed to get my win to get back so I can get a good fight. But it was like I was a bit demotivated because it's not what I'm not used to that at the moment. I ain't been used to that for a few years, so it's hard to get up for it as much. And I sort of started falling out of love with the sport. I had a few niggles, and I was thinking, you know what, is it really me? Do I need to do this anymore? Like, I'm putting my body through all this for what? Then I had the lockdown, obviously. I had a few weeks off, like, refresh my body, refresh my mind. You know what I mean? And obviously, it looked like, at the start of lockdown, it looked like we probably wouldn't be fighting until next year. You know what I mean? So in my head at the start of it, I thought, you know what, it's done. That boxing's sort of over. I've got a kid, I've got my own family. I can't be waiting around a whole year to wait before I earn a few quid from a fight. I mean, I've got to get out and earn money so my family can live well. Do you know what I mean? But then obviously, in that time, obviously I was resting, like I said, and then they mentioned about obviously fights happening again, maybe in the summer, and then I just got straight back on it, found the facilities to use, and then got in camp full and just pushed as hard as I could.
Yeah. The fight that you're going into with Sam Eggington, it's one I'd call, from the outside looking, it's quite a fan-friendly fight. Your styles should gel quite well. It could be an absolute, I said before you came on, an absolute war zone if you both wanted it to be. Because he comes forward, you come forward. But I know you showed a bit of versatility, like I said, in the Fitzgerald fight, where you showed you can outbox him and move him. So your opinion on the fight, obviously you're backing yourself to win. How does the fight end? Do you think it goes the distance?
No, I think I'll get Sam out of there. You know what I mean? Sam's had a lot of hard fights, and the thing is, he's going to take a lot of punishment. You know what I mean? Because, obviously, look, I've been hit freely at some point, but Sam regularly hit each fight. You know what I mean? His defense ain't the greatest. Yeah. And when I keep hitting, I think the hardest thing for me is going to be not loading up when I'm landing so clean. I mean, and wasting energy. And if I can keep doing that, I know sooner or later there's going to be a shot that lands that finishes him. You know what I mean? I just got to take my time, be patient, and I know I'll get him out of there.
Brilliant. So, touch wood, God willing, yourself, you beat Sam Eggington. What's the plan moving forward? Because I know if you'd have obviously got the win against Fitzgerald, I think there were talks of looking at Anthony Fowler, going down that sort of route and building up again. What do you want out of the next part? What if you get the win over Sam?
Obviously, look, you can't, like I said, you can't look past Sam, but I don't know.
For sure.
You just have to wait and see. You know what I mean? It's always about risk and rewards. You know what I mean? And and it depends what opportunities happen. I'm going to be number 5 in the world once I beat Sam. You know what I mean? And it's a big ranking. And all you do is need that bit of luck. If you get that bit of luck, you don't know what's around the corner. So you just got to wait and see. But obviously, fights like Fowler are definitely fights I'm going to want in the future. So hopefully they do happen.
Yeah. So your ultimate goal in boxing then, What is it? What's the ultimate
My
the
ultimate
ultimate
goal
attainable goal?
is to win a world title. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, some people might not look at it as realistic. Some people might, but obviously, look, if I win my next fight and I'm a five in the world, all it takes is to get a voluntary shot, and then
Yeah,
I could be world champion within the next year. But you don't know; it might take another 3 or 4 years. But I'm still only 24. Do you know what I mean? That's what people forget
yeah.
about me. And I'm learning a lot all the time. I've had the experience in these big fights, and all I've got to do is take that experience, all my talent, and a fresh head, and I think everyone's going to see a brand new Ted Cheeseman that's going to shock a lot of people.
Well, good luck to you with the fight coming up. We'll definitely be watching. It's a cracking card throughout, top to bottom. I think all 4 cards that he's put on are absolutely brilliant. So,
Yeah.
that's it from us. So I appreciate your time, obviously, arranging it with us and getting back to us. Massively appreciated. And obviously, good luck for the future, and we'll keep checking in. Massively appreciated.
Yeah, thanks a lot, mate. Cheers. Thanks for having me on as well.
All right. Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Ted.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Cheers, mate.
See you later.
All
Bye-bye.
right. I'll speak to you soon, yeah?